It was good, guys. Nice to have you back for lockdown day 8. Now, can you believe it's been 8 days? Actually, it's flown by. Hard for me because I'm having to come up with these videos and new ideas and new things to talk about. So we're going to talk about, we're going to keep the theme, keeping it positive, but we're also going to talk about the police as well. And the most important thing is, and this all comes from the top, yeah? Mixed messages from the top saying, you guys are going to get fined for being outside. You can only go out for a run, a cycle, or a walk. Yeah, none of the other stuff, because I'm sure if you're doing anything else with a football, a basketball, skateboard, you're going to be led away to go at the park and do activities that you're not supposed to. So while that's all going on, I've seen a little bit of that. Yes, when I went on my walk yesterday, I saw a dad out playing basketball with two of his children. And while that didn't bother anybody, and while it was fun, and I'm sure I was jealous because I normally go out and play basketball as well, it's not what was on the menu. And when you're playing something like that, it's more of a team sport, isn't it? So you kind of take your basketball out there, you meet somebody else and they say, yeah, you want a game? And then, yeah, let's join in. And then it all becomes something it wasn't supposed to. So I think that that's where they're afraid of reaching with this. But listen, the message from the top has not been clear. We've been talking about fines and police are going to get more control, but we didn't really have an understanding of what the fines were until 5 days later, where they were talking about a parking ticket, a £60 fine, and then £120 for serial offenders. And the other thing that wasn't clear was how much power are the police going to actually get to enforce it? Yeah, that's never been clear. So it's mixed messages. And in that way, look, I'm not the biggest fan of what's been going on, but that's bound to send mixed messages to the police. And as you guys know, not all police are made in equal. And I'm going to run through some numbers down here. So we've got, to give you a rough idea of how confusing this is with their unprecedented powers, it's been implemented in a real dodgy way. In the first few days of this new force, the Lancashire Police issued 123 enforcement notices since Thursday, yeah? But the Bedfordshire Police issued absolutely none. And what does that tell you? That tells you that one rule for one rule for the other. I know over here we've got vans and police cars, and it's the same vans and the same police cars. The poor sods have got to do this every day, and I feel for them, because if that's your job, driving around local towns, do what they're supposed to be doing, it's a shitty job. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I can really say is that they've stopped people, talked to them. How many times have you been out today? Where are you going? And really, they shouldn't be asking you where you're going because you're going for a walk. Sometimes I've seen them ask questions and people just laughed. Seriously, I've seen them ask straightforward questions and people have just laughed. It's like, what do you want me to tell you? I'm going for a walk. What do you want? It's different if they catch you out again. Then I'm sure the conversation would be much different. It would be somewhere along the lines of, haven't you been out for a walk already? You know, you're not supposed to do that. Little silly things like that. Look, unless something's written in stone, then these guys are not supposed to know what they're doing. Yeah? On the flip side of that, we've also got to be careful, because, guys, the problem with the black community and the Asian community is they get stopped more than anybody else. In fact, the Met Office record shows that 78% of the people that get stopped in London are black people. Yet the records show that black people are only responsible for 26% of the crimes. So therefore, we're getting stopped 3 times more than anybody else. And in theory, we may not even be doing anything. But that's just the nature of the beast. How are those rules going to be implemented knowing that the black community are getting stopped more than anyone else? Yeah, these are the things that we got to think about. The government's not thinking about them. Local constituencies need to think about them, and then they need to have conversations with the local police forces, because seriously, if this thing can go sideways real quick. Yeah, this thing can go sideways real quick. So I'm sure that people are going to be on the lookout to see if something like that is actually going on. There's a great article in The Guardian written by Mahdawi, and she has basically talked about the rich and famous are desperate to prove that we're all in this together, i.e. all the celebrities in the world, all the people with millions and millions of followers on Instagram and all that stuff. But that the outbreak has just highlighted how false that is. And you know what that reminded me? That reminded me about the Joker movie, yeah? It was, for you guys who are on my movie page and you read all of my reviews, you'll know that I gave that film of the year. But the one message, and a lot of people who was listening to false talk from the media completely mismanaged what that film was all about. Yeah, they heard about all these shootings and whatever, and they said the film was supposed to be glorifying violence when it wasn't. Yeah, the message in the film, guys, was and it had amazing conviction. But what's going on is precisely what the movies try to represent, which is a world that's just seething in resentfulness and frustration, boiling over for the hatred of the rich, because the rich, once they've got their money and once they're behind their closed doors, they're not worried about anything else. They might throw a few dollars out to help this charity or that charity, but the bottom line is, once they're covered and they're all right, that's it. They're safe. And listen, what you have to remember is this is a closed off world for them, because they're not out on the red carpet. They're not getting the cameras flashing in their faces. So they're being normalized by all of this. But the other thing it's doing as well, guys, is it's doing something very different for what we're going through. What they're going through is being normalized. Look, these people who are celebrities are normally used to being locked behind closed doors. They're normally used to not going out because of the press and because of all these people who are looking for quick stories. Look, they spend a lot of their lives trying to get away from the highlight and the flashing cameras and all of that stuff. So they're used to being secluded in their own homes. Yeah, we're not used to that. We're used to being able to go out, go shopping, go partying or go whatever, without being interrupted or having our privacy invaded. These people are specialists at being private. So this is really nothing for them. The only thing that they're missing, as I said, is the fame. So it's a real strong divide by that. So listen, I'm going to put the article in the comment section below so that you guys can have a quick read of it. It's a great article. Well done for her for writing that. And I've got something really good for you guys, some really positive news. The funny thing is, I just watched Contagion last night, and at some point I thought, I've got to rewatch it because I can't remember the film. I knew the film had a lot of touch points in regards to what's going on in today's world now. And listen, I'm just going to be straight and honest and forward with you guys. The first 15-20 minutes of the film is quite gruesome because there's a lot of death, yeah, and it might be a bit depressing, but for 80% of the film, it's actually quite interesting. It goes a lot into the scientific and CDC methods in terms of finding a virus, and in the end, obviously, that's what happens and everybody's saved. But it just really hits home how important this is. See, what we see happening now in the media is stuff on the surface. We're told about the death numbers, we're told about the people who are infected, but what the media doesn't tell us is how many people have recovered. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. What they're also not talking about is who's working on a formula, how far have they got, what's the developments, and those are the things that are interesting for people like me. I'm a tech head. I like substance. I like to find out how things work. Yeah, and when you're sort of like that, you want to challenge yourself by finding out how this stuff all works. How did they re-engineer the virus, strip it down to the DNA level to kind of build it back up again to find out an immunity to it. So and the film does that. Guys, check the film out. Really, really good film. 2011, a whole host of stars, Gwyneth Paltrow, Matt Damon, Lawrence Fishburne, a ton of stars. And listen, what this does is this brings on this development from a Dr. Jacob Glanville, who actually he's one of the stars of the Netflix documentary Pandemic, yeah, in which he runs a distributor bio system, and he's been working a way around to find an antidote for the virus. And it looks like he's come up with something as well. So I'm going to leave that YouTube link as well in the comment section below. Just have a look at the bottom section for the information and you'll find those links in there. And I find that really interesting because from what we've been told, a vaccine's not going to be until another 12 to 18 months. Yeah, don't listen to what Donald Trump says. It's going to be, he ain't going to be here next week. If you listen to him, it's going to be a lot longer. It's going to be about 12 to 18 months, maybe longer. But in this respect, it shows that there's some breakthroughs there, and I really want you guys to go and check it out. But listen, guys, that's all the updates from me today. A lot of things to look forward to, and again, I'll try and keep myself busy for you guys and bring you as much content as I can. I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are holding in there. I hope you guys are eating well. well nutritioned, and I hope you guys are looking after your mental health and you're making those face-to-face phone calls on WhatsApp that I've been talking to you about. Make sure you pick up the phone and ring someone that you ain't spoken to in a long time. Touch base, yeah, rekindle that friendship. Just try and see what your friends are up to, yeah? Don't be like all these celebrities living behind closed doors that don't really care about you. Your friends care about you. So they're the ones that you need to be touching base with. Hold it down, people. Right back at you. And look after yourselves, man. Peace out.